Welcome everyone, my name is Essex and this is my first playthrough of the channel. This will be Final Fantasy 1 for the classic NES. And here we have the story. Well, the intro story kinda. So let's just skip that. If you want to read it, feel free to pause, but let's hop right in. So we're going to be making a new game here, and I'm going to set it to 7 because we want it to go fast but not too fast. And here we have our classes. This is the default setup here. You can rotate through and see the classes the game offers, but our first class rather, is going to be a fighter, and let's name him Essex since Essex won't fit. And I just went right by it. We're going to go with a black belt for the second class. And let's grab a white mage and name her Libby. Yep. So we're kind of limited. We can only use 4 letters for our names. You can do 3 as well, like here we're going to name this guy Dan, and we're going to use the empty square there. This is the recommended party. In the old classic manual, it listed a few groups you could go with, like one was like for magic users, it involved a red mage, white mage, double black mage. One was like heavy melee, which was fighter, thief, and double black belt and stuff like that. The original party that was on here, which was a fighter, thief, black belt, red mage, that's known as the default party. That's what will always be here when you hit new game. And well, we're going to go with this so that we can get a good variety in the game. So here we have the overworld map and our first town. But first let's hit start and let's go over the menu. So we have 400 gold, and above that we have 4 empty spheres, or crystals rather. So in the first game, like I believe the manual calls them spheres or orbs of light or something like that. Later on they're kind of known as the crystals, and each warrior has one. But currently you'll see we have no weapons and no armor. And we need 40 experience points to level up, and you can check our status here. So absorb is basically defense, and it lets you know how much damage you'll mitigate. The fighter here uses the better versions of the armor, so he'll be frontlining most of the damage either way. Hit percent is very important. It's not only the chance to hit and stuff, like it's not 10%, but every, I believe it's 32 or 34, something like that, you can do 2 hits basically, or an extra hit. You get an extra hit every certain amount of hit percent. So when you hit 32 or 34, we'll see, and the fighter will start getting like double hits. The black belt is a little bit different in that respect. And let's go to magic, and you'll see our white mage here has 2 charges of level 1 magic, but she doesn't know any spells. Same thing with our black mage. 2 charges, level 1 magic, but they don't know any spells. So first thing we need to do is go equip our characters, because we definitely don't want to be fisticuffing it through the whole game. I don't even know if that's possible. Probably not. Someone will probably do it though, like eventually. They'll just throw themselves at like the game. People have done some pretty incredible things in the game, and like beating it with 1 black mage, that's like a glutton for punishment, if you ask me. I don't know, they might find it fun, but to each their own. So we just picked up some weapons there for everyone, and now we're going to grab the armor, chainmail for the fighter, wooden armor for the black belt, and we're going to grab 2 pieces of cloth for the mages. The cloth doesn't do much at all, but you know, every little bit helps, I guess. It really doesn't matter, it's like 10 gold. We have enough to buy 2 spells. So this is the white magic shop, and here we have Cure, Harm, Fog, and Ruse. So we're going to definitely grab Cure, which is just going to let us have some recovery. Harm is basically like turn undead or holy, but it only works against zombies and stuff like that, ghosts. Here's the black magic shop, and we're going to pick up fire first. And in there was sleep, lock, and lit, or lightning rather, but it's L-I-T. And before we head out, we're going to equip our weapons and armor. So if it has the E and the dash beside it, that means you equipped it. You just need to hover over each piece and click it once with the A button to equip it. Make sure you throw in your armor as well. And luckily our casters have their magic charges already, so we could just hop right into the first little bit of grinding. I don't intend to grind too much in the game. I'm going to stay towards the front here, as you can get a little bit more annoying enemies in the back there. I believe you can get a mad pony, and that could be a little annoying if the mad pony attacked one of the mages. I believe you can get up to 2. Not sure on that, but I know you can get 1 for sure. And it's like the 4th or 5th fight. I know you can also get some wolves back there as well. So for the first fight, it's going pretty well. You want to kind of divide everybody's attacks up, because if you put everybody on the same monster and it dies, and then the other remaining party members who haven't went yet or had their turn attack it, it will say ineffective. So you don't want to be wasting attacks. You definitely want to make every attack count. So in time, you should be able to get an idea of how much HP a monster has. I believe the imps have around 8. Could be wrong. And Dan is just taking it to the face there. Wow. Usually they are less likely to target the bottom 2 party members. I believe it's like a 25% chance, because they're considered to be in the back row. The fighter and black belt are in the front rows, but the fighter has the highest % chance to get hit. So before we go to the next fight here, we're not going to grind out long, by the way. We're just going to get 1 level up to make it pretty easy. We're going to want to heal Dan because he's very squish. And right now it would just really hurt if he got crit, or if he just died to unfortunate events. So we're going to try and keep him up. This isn't by any means like the easiest way to start. You could do like double fighter red mage and just obliterate the game. Like with a little bit of grinding here and there, like you'd be able to go through it pretty easily. There are other strong combinations as well. I think my favorite combination as a kid though was just all fighters. I'm not sure why, but when I was playing this at 3 and 4, you know, I wasn't able to read, and so I couldn't figure the game out. But through trial and error of eventually finding Garland towards the north up there, I found out that he was mainly like the big bad. So I would take all 4 classes one at a time up there and just punch him down and see who could do it. And very often the fighters could do it. I didn't even know you could save the game back then. Like, I was still figuring it out and stuff. And it was fun. It was an experience. But 4 fighters came to be my favorite setup. And I couldn't explain how I progressed the game. I had the manual and I would just follow the pictures until eventually, you know, after going through school, I managed to learn to read and such, and it became quite easier. Definitely helps when you know how to equip armor and weapons. But, you know, what can you do? So, I mentioned Garland earlier. He's kind of like the first main villain in the game. If you talk to people in the town, you'll learn that he kidnapped the princess, and since we're the Light Warriors, it's our job to get her back. So that's the first objective, and Garland is in the Temple of Fiends, or the Chaos Temple, whichever one you want to call it, up towards the north. I believe it's Temple of Fiends in this, and then Chaos Temple in the further later games. Or it could be that once you... Well, I'm not going to spoil anything, but once certain events take place, it could be when you advance there that it's the Chaos Temple. So we should be getting pretty close to a level up here. Like I said, I'm not going to do too much grinding here. I don't really want to over-grind in the game. I don't want to make it just easy and then this be kind of like a boring walkthrough. I kind of want to keep it a little bit challenging. You know, it's not fun if there's no chance for somebody to die. So that said, I probably won't do too much grinding at all. But I will fight encounters that I feel like fighting, if that makes any sense. Because I don't want to be too weak as well. But, you know, I'll fight some dangerous encounters just to make up for it. Some that you definitely would want to avoid or quickly deal with. So, since we're close to leveling up, let's go ahead and start using some magic just to make sure we get through these fights a little bit quicker here. The imps aren't too bad, and if you stay over here where I'm at, that'll be pretty much all you get early on. If we were behind the castle up there, walking in the forest behind that area, we would have seen a wolf, a mad pony by now, and possibly some GR imps. They have a little prefix, it's GR. I like to call them gray imps, but I'm pretty sure it's for great. And here's our level up. So we'll see Essex here, or Essex rather, has 61 hit points, and he gained some stats. Jace managed to get 63, which is awesome. Libby is at 52, and Dan is at 50. Cool. So we're gonna go in really quickly, we're gonna rest up, and then we will head north, because like I said, level 2 should be more than enough to do it safely. Now we could go by and pick up another spell or grab some potions, but it's really not needed with the level 2. So, let's see. We might get a few encounters on the way as well. So far so good though. Spoke too soon, I guess. Let's see. We're just gonna take these imps out. It'd probably be quicker to run, but like I said, it's not too hard to kill them. They're not too annoying or anything, so we'll just take it. And everyone managed to take an imp out, so that is awesome. And we are coming up on the Temple of Fiends. Now, there is a line up here that I will show you. If you walk back and forth here, you can run into something called a creep. And if you have a magic user that can use fire, you can get rid of them pretty easy, but they can do some pretty devastating damage this early on. I only know this because as a kid, this is one of my favorite grinding spots with the fighters. Just punching them down to get level 3 and 4 and stuff. You know, your 2 creeps is like 30 experience points. But you have to walk up there, and here is a mad pony. This is not something we want, but we will fight it regardless. Let's see. 3 magic spells, let's hit it with a fire. So the mad pony is bad because it can multiple hit, and if it multiple hits a caster, well, you see it hit the black belt there for quite a bit. So we definitely don't want it to do that to the casters. We want to end this as quickly as possible. Some enemies are just straight up not worth fighting, and you saw there, the fighter barely took any damage. That's, you know, love the fighter. So 15 experience points, 15 gold. We'll take it. And I know there are items in here that I can get to the left, but the encounters in here can be a little not good for your health. And the chests to the right are locked, and you need a mystic key to get in there. And here we have Garland, and that would be our princess behind him. Let's see about that. Let's see if he can actually defeat us. Spoiler alert, it's very doubtful. So let's go ahead and cast fire. I believe lightning would be a little bit better for Garland. It has like higher damage values, but at the end of the day it shouldn't matter. Especially if he missed his first round. Of course I said that, now watch him crit one of the mages and just take them down. I'm always prepared for the worst in this game because I've put so much time into it in the past. I've played through it countless times, and it's completely different each time because you never know when you're going to run into that one group that's just going to like obliterate you, like out of the blue. But anyway, 32 experience points and 250 gold. Garland was pretty easy. So let's talk to the princess. She thanks us, and boom, we are teleported to the castle. So the king thanks us as well, and he's going to aid our quest by ordering a bridge to be built behind the castle, and he wants us to go make the orb shine again. But don't forget to talk to the princess because she gives you an item you'll need kinda towards the end of the game, and if you forget it, well, it won't be too good unless you know the exit spell. So now we can leave, and you can talk to people and learn a little bit more about the story and such, but just for the sake of time, I'm just kind of going through it for the most part. We're going to grab some more magic, however, before we do head out. We definitely want to pick up Harm for the White Mage. We might not use it that much, but there will be some occasions where we might want to use it. Specifically, large undead groups of enemies. For our Black Mage, we want to grab Lightning, which is going to be helpful for aquatic creatures, and Sleep, which is going to be good for big groups of enemies. And we are going to rest up to restore the magic charges for our Black Mage as well. So let's go ahead and sleep here. That'll do it, and let's leave. So the game kind of only has really one cutscene. It's when you walk over the bridge. It's kind of like the introduction to the game, but I'll be quiet so you guys can read through it. Alright, so up north is Matoya's cave, and we don't really need to go there. Oh, look, the Grey Imps. And they have first strike, which is no big deal as well. So let's divide up our attacks. These are just basically a little bit stronger than the regular imps. They're still no problem. There are some nasty enemies we can meet going towards the next town, but I think we'll be okay. See? Easy. There are certain enemies that can spawn in certain areas of the game. Like, I can pretty much tell you that wolves, gray wolves, or great wolves, blue wolves, whichever, iguanas, which is definitely not one of the enemies that we would want to fight, but we are going to fight, just for the sake of having fun. So let's hit him with a fire spell. But there are certain enemies like you can meet just on the way. Like, each area of the game has a certain like spawn set of enemies, and they rotate through like certain groups. So like each floor might shuffle it a little bit, but it is predictable, but we're not going to be doing any of that. So there was a nasty hit to the Black Mage. We will definitely want to cure him up. Some spells in this game actually don't work the way they are intended, and some items are the same. It's just a problem with the coding and how it functions. So like, there's a level 2 spell called Temper for the Black Mage. In the later versions of the game it works fine. It's supposed to increase the damage you deal with weapons, but in the NES version it does not work. So it's not worth getting. So 38 experience points, 50 gold. The iguana has a pretty high health pool. He can do some pretty nasty damage to the squishies as well. We will refer to the mages as the squishies. And here's a pack of wolves, and we will fight them as well. Let's throw out a fire. We're going to keep one spell charge for the next boss fight, which we should be able to get in before the end of the video. I call it a boss fight, it's not really that much of a boss. But the enemies in the encounter are unique. And look, we wasted a fire. Ineffective. I guess the white mage actually did real good damage. And then she turns around and misses. And the black belt missed. And the wolf missed. And the other wolf missed. Oh, alright. Someone deals some damage. So missing is quite frequent early in the game especially. But it tends to go away the higher levels you get and the better equipment you get. Like, you'll hardly notice it. That is, unless the enemies cast invis or something like that. And we're just struggling our way through here to land hits. And there we go. 24 experience points. We should be getting pretty close to level 3. Which I would want to be level 3 before going through the next rough point of the game at least. I know I said I didn't want to grind, but I also don't want to do it at a absurdly low level. If you talk to this guy, he tells you that the town has been invaded by pirates, and his dialogue will change after this encounter. Look, the pirates! This is Beaky, or Bike, whichever one you want to call him, I'm not sure. And he's surprised, so let's just take him down. So you'll see there's 9 of them, but they don't do that much damage and they don't have a lot of HP. This is also like a good time for sleep. You can just make the fight go a little bit quicker by taking out certain groups or certain enemies. Like, you see they're going to sleep now. So those first 3 are asleep, 4 ineffective, 5, 6, and 7. So we know the 2 that did not get put to sleep. We don't know which ones wake up. It usually lasts for a round or 1 action, so a few of them woke up there. So we know this one and this one did not get put to sleep. And we know that a few others woke up. Our black belt has actually taken some damage, but it's not a big deal. It should be okay. So let's go ahead and try and pile on through this. I don't want to make the videos too long. I don't want to take up too much time. I will upload a video every day, 7 days a week though. I am kind of new to this, so I might stumble or fumble with my words a little bit. But I intend to do Let's Plays on this channel. I intend to also do Heroes of the Storm games and to review certain heroes and just basically what I do in the encounters or matches and play up. So 90 experience points, 360 gold, and we get our level 3, which is awesome. You'll notice some of the characters or classes don't actually get as much HP every level up as they do their first level up. Specifically the mages and the black belt. And that's just, I guess, how they want to balance them out to make them a little bit better. Make sure you talk to the pirate again, because the whole reason of that was to take his ship so that we can have a way across the sea. So, this is the guy, yep. There you go, he tells you about ships. So the dialogue does change once you defeat the pirates. And let's see, do we have gold for this? We do. We want to pick up ice. There are some other spells here, and there are some upgrades here, but we're not going to grind them out. Ice is pretty much all that we'll need. But back to what I was saying, I don't want to take up too much time. I'm going to keep the videos, try to keep them below 25 minutes. I'll try and keep a video out every day for you guys. Once again, I'm new to it. If you have any suggestions or recommendations, by all means. The Let's Plays or video game guides will continue. And if you have any games you specifically want to see, feel free to let me know in the comments and stuff like that. I'll try and reach out to everybody as best I can. But back to what I was saying, I do play Heroes of the Storm and World of Warcraft, so I might throw up some video guides with those as well. I'm not too casual with the game. I'm actually pretty into it. Not to like toot my own horn or anything, but I can definitely do guides for those. And I love anything classic, like all the classic games. I've been playing since I was 3. I'm really into it. But I've went on enough about it. This was the first part of Final Fantasy, once again for the classic NES. And thank you guys for coming by and hanging out and watching the video. Have a good one.